Say, man, you're in a privileged position right now. You're in a place to be. Matter of fact, a place to G with the one and only S&OOP. So what you gonna do now? Turn that shit up and let it bang.
Everybody that you fight is not your enemy.
Trenches.
And everybody that helps you is not
Work
your
on your
friend.
free time. Nico Trenches, we train
And
online
that's
to
what
lead
life's
line. Getting sacks on quarterbacks, you know we live. When you check that 45, keep your nose on his inside. Better punch something, keep your feet moving, dog. My 3 10 and 1 10, they some real hoes. My DN 6'5", he ain't got no flaws. Good grades, good feet, man, he got it all. I said crazy, he'll snatch something. Real aggressive jump, said he tryna grab something. If the old don't shoot their hands, you better jab some. You better stab some. More than snatch some. From the youth to the pros, we get it in. If you ain't watching film, you ain't trying to win. If he close the beat gap, then you gotta spin. If you get around the edge, then you gotta bend. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. Where the lineman at? Where the lineman at? D tackle, do your dance. D ends, do your dance. Center, do your dance. Guard, do your dance. Tackle, do your dance. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at.
Fucking bet against me. Bet against me. Tell me it's not gonna happen. Tell me it's gonna fail. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Good day, everybody. We're back. Episode 44, Bushleague Sports. Heisman Trophy has been awarded. We're going to get into that today. Week 15, we got fantasy playoffs rocking and rolling. As always, we'll be joined by my beautiful, bald, sexy co-host, Trav No Sleep from Shredding Sassy. We'll get into hockey, all kinds of things. I'll sip on a little caffeine. We'll get dialed in. I'm going to bring up the main man, see what he's getting into, see how the week's been. And we're going to get her rolling. What's happening, my friend? How you doing? I'm back for another. I'm stoked to be here. And I realized I got the wrong account on X, so I'm going to fire that up in 1 sec.
What's up, brother? No worries. No worries. Yeah, stoked to be here, man. It's been a great week. It's been a great weekend, man. Friday, I started off. Friday was my birthday. I don't know if I told you that. Friday, December 13th. Little scary day of the week. Little scary day of the year to have your birthday, but it was a great one. Went through a couple sporting events with the kids this weekend. My son did a lacrosse camp, which was really cool. He's 6, running around there with a lacrosse stick, hitting other kids, just what you're supposed to do at that age, right? And then my daughter had a soccer tournament, FC Dallas. They won. So closed that out with a win about 2 hours ago. So happy to be here with you, man. How was your weekend?
Love it. No, that's awesome. I'm stoked to hear that. Stoked to hear little man's playing some lacrosse. We got a lacrosse team up here. Shouts to my buddy Connor. He does some filming for the Saskrush here, and he does some sick clips for them. You have to check some of those out, and he's helping us with some Bam Bam fitness clips. We'll get into some of that a little later. But man, it's been an interesting week. I went out snowmobiling a couple of times, took the kid down to the coulee, had a fun 1 or 2 down there. So yeah, it's just doing Canadian things. So I'm stoked to be chatting with you again, and obviously, happy birthday, brother. Stoked to have you here for another year and have another year of us doing the show. Geez, we're coming up on probably 2 years almost of doing this. So it's been a fun ride.
Absolutely, man. 38, getting up there, almost 40. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. We'll definitely have to meet up when it's the big 40, man. But you got the Sunnyvale Trailer Park jersey on right now, so I'm loving it.
Oh, you like that? Yeah. No. So one of the fantasy football leagues I'm in is called Sunnyvale. My buddy Brian, shouts to him. He's a good friend of mine. He's in all my fantasy leagues. Probably my number one nemesis in fantasy, like good buddy of mine. But me and him are back and forth hard football season all time. And his league is called Sunnyvale in inspiration of the Trailer Park Boys, Sunnyvale. So I might lose out of the playoffs in it this week. I think it's the only league that I'm going to be out of the playoffs first round. So it was an ode to Sunnyvale because my season might be ending. But another thing, this isn't bad boy. I got this thing. I don't know if you can see the back. I got her in Vegas. many years ago. It's signed by all the boys. I partied with them one night when we were down at the Hard Rock when I was down for Ellis Mania. They happened to be there same night too, so I got to hang out with them and meet them. It was pretty fun. But shouts to Brian, shouts to Trailer Park Boys.
I gotta know, man. Are they even close to their characters in real life? Are they even like how is it? Are they close to their characters?
So like Bubbles is straight up like Bubbles. Like he acts completely like Bubbles. He's fully like Bubbles. He doesn't break character. He's straight up Bubbles. Like I actually question to the point of if he ever breaks character. I'm sure he does, but like you see him and he does the odd thing where he does. But no, like he straight up doesn't break character at all. Julian and Ricky were, I would say they broke character a little bit because I was like trying to be friendly with them and kind of chat with them outside their character a little bit. They're pretty cool guys, but he definitely had the rum and coke and they were playing tune to it. That was even probably 10 years ago. I'm sure they've slowed down a little bit since then, right? But Frick, it's probably been a decade I've had this thing now.
That's amazing, man. Killer show. If you haven't seen it, Trailer Park Boys. It was on Netflix forever. I don't know if it's still there or what, but it's just a monster for sure.
Like it almost like it's like a Canadian heritage show. Like, nowadays I think people might think of like Letterkenny or something like that, but like Trailer Park Boys is like the original OG of that type of show, period. And for sure the original Canadian one, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, dude, we're talking all Canada today, man. So far, I think lacrosse is like the national sport of Canada too, right? Or like the summer.
Yeah, it is the original. And Canada did select their 2025 World Junior team too. So we're dialed in on that. We'll be doing some World Junior pack rips around Christmas as well too. So that'll be fun to unbox some of the newest players coming in. But yeah, it's not meant to be Canada, and it's not meant to be me babbling about a jersey. So we should get into a little bit of sports, a little bit of what's been going on this week, and maybe get into the Bushleague plays of the week to fire it up. I'm thinking.
Oh, let's go.
What do we got? Oh, we got the Jonathan Taylor. This probably cost some people their fantasy season. Got the handoff run. He dodges all the way through. Sick play. Everybody's starting him up. He's your workhorse guy. You want to get your touchdown on him right before drops it. You see that?
Oh my gosh.
We'll go back right there. So right there, there's been a discussion like, did he not? But in the end, that's one of those Bushleague plays where you can't be doing that. You can't be getting all the way to the end zone and just kind of giving up. Like, get through the end zone. Think about dropping it when you're through the back. Needs to be the new mindset with these guys, I think.
That it's absolutely wild that happens as often as it does, man. It's crazy to me that players are leaving it like that, right? They're not completing the play, playing through the whistle, right? That's something they teach us kids. Play through the whistle. I know in hockey it's huge. Play through the whistle. However, in the NFL, it's not always happening. But and like you said, people lost their leagues because of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, for sure. Like, it's going to affect people 100%. Like, I lost what would be 6 fantasy points from him going in the end zone there, for sure, right? And you say it happens all so often. Let's cue up the next clip here. It happened twice today. Shouts to Fox Sports. We're queuing it up off their Twitter today because we're Bushleague. We don't got time to get our own clips rocking and rolling.
I don't know why players do this at times. And not he lost that ball before. He was switching it into his other arm, and he lost that well before he got to the goal line.
Good angle right there. Obviously losing it well before the line, right?
And what should have.
So that's a touchback, right? That's a touchback when it fumbles and goes out of the end zone like it did there?
Switching it into his other arm.
I believe so.
Here, sorry, I gotta get the clip stopped. Yeah, I mean, twice tonight. Yeah, and so if it goes out the back, yeah, it's a touchback, and then that's the end of her, right?
Right, and again, that's a huge defensive play, huge points for anybody holding that defense. So fantasy implications all day on both of those.
Well, you wouldn't it be me who has Jonathan Taylor on the team and stream Cincinnati Bengals? Now I can't cry. They still got like 26 or 28 fantasy points. They had an unreal performance. They were playing one of the worst offenses in the league. So I streamed, but I could have used the 6 more points. You could have just carried the ball across the end zone. That would have been great. You could have got a touchdown on your stats. I don't know if you know how this works, you guys in the NFL, but if you actually carry the ball into the end zone, then you get the stat and it goes on your record, right? So you should do that.
And that counts as a lost fumble. So not only did you lose 6 points, some leagues, a fumble lost is minus a point. So
Yeah, no, actually, you're 100% right. It's minus a point if it's recovered. So it's actually like a probably -7 on both plays. In essence, you actually probably got -2 and then lost 12 points that you should have got but did not get.
that's definitely the Bush League plays of the week in the NFL. That's for sure. What do you got? What else do you got?
Well, I know we're going to get into NHL a little later, but while we're on the Bush League plays of the week, let's get one NHL play in here. We're going to go to, again, just a Bush League queue up we got from NHL Discussion. Shouts to them. But we're going to check this out. I don't know if you've seen this play yet. Absolute beauty. I mean, if I can't score, nobody can. Oh, we might have to reboot the system here. No. If I can't score, you're not scoring. Mishkov says, no dice, ain't happening. Get it out of here, Konecki. None for you.
Mishkov is such a spectacular player this year. He is front runner for the Rookie of the Year. I don't know how that happens. When I initially saw that, and I saw it on, some pundit put it out, I thought Fleury made the save. I thought it was like a ridiculous paddle save by Fleury, but I had to slow it down, and his stick's on the ice right in front of the net. It's all she wrote, man. That was an easy goal. That was a gimme, and Mishkov stole it from him.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's just thinking about tip it in, but at that point, your stick's literally in the middle of the net. Your buddy's going to score. Get out of here. But in the end, he just doesn't even get the goal. He's trying so hard to get a goal that he stops his teammate from getting a goal. Absolute Bush League. Ooh, big burp right into the DGI. But absolute Bush League play, and we'll get into NHL a little later. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Buying them beers after the game, at least. Like, he's buying beers, right?
So I made a tweet about him yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, with Torts is getting soft. Tortorella is getting soft on Mish here, because this kid's trying Michigan's every game or lacrosse goals every time he's behind the net, and Torts doesn't like that stuff, and instead of laying into him, Torts is kind of letting him off the hook. It's really interesting. You'd expect some more disciplined hockey coming out of a team coached by Torts, and who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll pull it together later this year. The kid's definitely going to be a front runner for the Rookie of the Year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be as good as, obviously, our boy Macklin Celebrini, but we don't want to get into that. Obviously, you haven't paid up for him in fantasy.
You keep sending me the trades. Keep sending me the trades.
Hey, man, you should pick him. You need the guy. Your team's looking rusty. Now, we're going to get into Week 15 scores in the Chell. What do you got for us this week, buddy?
Dude, so starting out with the Thursday game, we had the Niners and the Rams, the most boring game of all time. What would you think? A 6-12?
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start the fantasy playoffs, right? We start with just an absolute 12-6. Everybody's got their guys. They're wanting to start with a, big high-scoring game to open the fantasy playoffs. And instead, we end up with one of the lowest scoring games of the entire week. Cooper Kupp puts up a donut. And I mean, I think we're under the understanding Puka Nacua is the main man, and he's going to be the guy that I'm going wide one with the Rams nowadays over Kupp. But we expected Kupp to do something, probably get 10, 15 points, not put up a donut. So a lot of recovery for some people this week. I think that's going to be a tough one, because I think if you had Kupp, you're probably starting him unless you got some stacked rosters like I might have. John, my buddy John might not agree, but some of the most stacked rosters in the world, you got to bench a guy like that.
Puka has had an outstanding season coming off of the injury and is making spectacular catches. Like you said, that wide receiver number one is Puka's from now on. That's just the way it is. Kyron Williams had a decent game, just no tutties, man. No tutties.
Yeah, nope, nothing happened. Commander Saints 2019. Commanders get the W. That game, I don't know if you've seen it, comes down to the last play. Commanders get a touchdown right near the very, very end. Spencer Rattler comes in. He gets a touchdown pass to Foster Moreau right near the end of the game. They decide to go for two. 2019, go for two. They blow it. They lose the game. We've talked about this before. That is Bush League. Tie the game. Kick the ball. Get 20 points. Tie the game. See what happens at the coin toss. If you win the coin toss, you're at a huge advantage to be able to go down, try and get the kick, or try and get the touchdown, defend. If you go the other way, you try and defend, go back the other way. I mean, I don't believe the analytics even say it. If it does, that you should be going for 2, trying to win the game there. Tie the game. Everybody's losing that's trying this. Go to overtime. Give the fans a little extra. Even if you lose, then at least they got a little extra out of it. It sucks watching games end like that.
Everybody wants the walk off. Everybody wants that grand slam and at the bottom of the ninth to win the game for your team. And now the NFL's like that. That's just the times, man. That's the times we live in. It would be absolutely spectacular if they did hit that, and we'd be talking about it in a different manner. But I agree. I think we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. It's definitely interesting times in the NFL. But I do want to say Jaden Daniels, huge game, 2 touchdown passes, 66 yards on the ground. He's going to be a fantasy.
So my buddy Juice was in the Twitter space this morning, and he was asking, should I start Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen? And I was like, well, I mean, I think we're starting Josh Allen. He's going to get into one of the highest scoring games of the year. Sometimes you're getting in a trap when you come off a guy that has 50 points, expecting a crazy outcome. And Jaden Daniels came out firing like 2 tutties early, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is Jaden Daniels going to go for like 35, 40 points and, Josh Allen have a mediocre 20-point day and I screwed this up? In the end, no, Josh Allen, the man again. But Jaden Daniels, great performance, but they shouldn't have won it. It should have been tie game. Well, maybe they should have won it, but they should have won in overtime. You can play some football. The game's already rushed enough that they don't play overtime, really. It's always like, we got to rush it because we're on this time restraint, because we need to run a replay of Friends after, and if that doesn't start on time, oh my gosh, right? So now we have to play this rush time 10-minute overtime. Well, don't rush it by skipping it. At least go play it.
Agree. And Scary Terry putting up points as well. He 2 touchdowns since Jaden Daniels has come over and inserted himself as QB1 there. Scary Terry's numbers have been through the roof. So stoked I have him on one of my teams, and he's going to definitely be in the lineup next week for my first playoff game.
Yep. Chiefs, Browns. I mean,
expected.
Jameis Winston, he was not delivered from pick sixes. I don't know what he asked the Lord deliver me for. Well, he didn't. You keep throwing them. So I don't know, buddy. Either maybe actually go practice them. Maybe praying to the Lord isn't going to cut it on this one, Jameis. But either way, 21-7, Kansas City Chiefs get the win, and Patrick Mahomes might have died at the end of the game. So we'll see what happens going into next week. He took like a hard injury, but then it seemed like it was his ankle, and it's Patrick Mahomes. He'll figure it out. I mean, that guy seems indestructible, but it was a hard hit. And then you don't want to see anyone get injured, even Mahomes. I want to see, if the Chiefs are going to lose, I want to see them lose with their best players playing. So hopefully he's all right.
Definitely. Moving on to the Titans and the Bengals. So we talked a little bit about the Bushleague play of the week. Did the Bengals have another pick six as well?
Yeah. They had 2 in the game. So they would have had 2, right? Like, it was an unreal game on the defensive aspect. And shouts to me for putting them as, I think, the number 1 defense to stream last week. Maybe we aren't Bushleague Sports after all. Maybe if you do follow us, you will win your fantasy leagues, kind of like we do. But nonetheless, just an impressive week. Like I said, they would have had over 30 fantasy points if they got that second pick 6, but they decided to fumble it on the end zone, showboating. But yeah, could have had 2.
Way it goes. Texans and Dolphins. CJ Stroud, Tua had a rough one, man. 3 picks.
Yeah, he took a hit too that I think had everybody worried for a sec, but he popped up. He was good. He was rolling. But you don't expect to see them lose to Tennessee. That's not the team you want to see them lose to. They're better than that, right? That's a squad that you think should come out and dominate. They've been playing a lot better as of late, and this week they just don't come out and get it done.
Yeah, and the ground game of Houston, I don't know where it was. Mixon not leading the team in rushing yards this week. Mixon leading the team in receiving yards. Rough week. Yeah. And they found out a way to get the win in Houston. Or it was in Miami, but Houston found a way to get the win.
Yep, absolutely. Our next game after that, we get rolling with a little bit of Ravens Giants, one of what we thought would be the biggest Bushleague beatdowns of the week, and it was. The boys came out with a dominant win, and Lamar, doing what Lamar does.
When we get into running backs next week. I want to get your take on Henry. Is Henry still an RB1 in fantasy right now? Because his numbers have been on the decline a little bit since early in the season, his touchdown numbers, his rushing yards. So it'll be interesting to see what your thoughts are as we
I think if you're Baltimore, if you're winning like this and you're not needing to lean on him all that much, I mean, from a fantasy aspect, we're going, oh, come on, we need him. He's our guy. But from a Baltimore aspect, I think you're thinking, let's see what we can do. We pretty much have a guaranteed playoff spot. We probably still want to try to keep that bye week. We're going to play hard enough to get that. But probably more important for the Baltimore Ravens if Derrick Henry is playing during their playoffs, not our freaking fantasy playoffs, right?
100%. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild that us fantasy owners have to deal with the shit that these teams give us. It's absolutely bullshit. But let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. Jets and Jags, man, the worst game of the week.
It's been a while since we've seen a win from that team. I called probably low-scoring game, so I was wrong. It was the opposite, high-scoring game. But, Bushleague can't get them all right. But still, it's nice to see Garrett Wilson get a couple passes, I guess. You see Sauce Gardner get a pick at the end. And the Jags, I would have been better this week to start Mac Jones and Jameis get me -1.5 Winston. So, I didn't expect to see that this week, but away she goes.
Aaron Rodgers connecting with Devontae for 2 touchdowns. Aaron having 3, solid performance. I remember when we were picking this last week, I said, I don't care who wins. I don't think I picked. And
the reason that they dominated is because they've been dustballing everybody all year, and now it's fantasy playoffs. Everybody's like, I cannot start Devontae. I cannot start Garrett Wilson. They've done nothing all season, and they go off when you probably have benched them all.
Absolutely. Cowboys, Panthers. Yeah, my bad. Cowboys, Panthers. Decent game for CD. Cooper Rush, 3 touchdowns. Yep. As expected. I think we both picked Cowboys in that matchup there, and it is what it is.
And so, you know what? I had a discussion with Juice again this morning on our Twitter space over on Bushleague Media in my TK Bushleague account. And we were discussing Cooper Rush, and I was like, he's like, I don't even really know who he is. And I'm like, oh, like, he's a veteran quarterback. He's been around for a long time. Like, pretty sure he's been around the league, like 3-4 different teams and done his journey. I pull up the Cooper Rush stats. 8 years in Dallas. He's been in Dallas the whole time. I didn't even realize that. He has literally been there the whole time. And he's actually playing really good, and they're getting some wins under him. Like, every time that you've seen Cooper Rush come in on like a 1 game, he hasn't played that well. And then Dax came back. But every time you've seen Cooper Rush come in on like 3, 4, 5 games, he's got acclimated and played really well. And you sit there and go, maybe they should just been playing this dude the whole time. They've had him for 8 years, and he's playing well.
He's raising his stock. Is he Nick Foles? Is he all of a sudden going to go to a team and win a Super Bowl as QB1? Who knows?
Yep, no, for sure. Moving on to the next squadron, it is our Buccaneers and the Chargers. Again, Baker Mayfield is a guy I pitted as being a top guy this week. Not really that surprising because he's been dominant all week. But the Buccaneers with another one. Mike Evans. So I was looking, Mike Evans, going into this week. So there's 4 weeks left, right? Obviously an extended year this year. 4 weeks left. Can you pull up how many yards Mike Evans had today while I go on a ramble? Is it possible? Is
159. 159.
Okay, perfect. So going into this week, 590 yards. So Mike Evans is 10 years straight over 1,000 yards. So I was looking at it going like, I wonder if they make a hard push, they could still get Evans over that hump. He's missed 4 games this year because of injury, but he's done it in the past on 13 games. And he has a chance to play about 13 and a half this year if he can wrap it up. But so that should put him at now 750 then. So 250 yards over 3 games he needs. It's literally in range when he's doing games like this. I would love to see Mike Evans stay healthy, finish the season. Obviously, love to see Tampa get in the playoffs, but I want to see him get another 1,000-yard season. I think that it's 10 years is amazing, but I don't want to see the streak to end. He's a guy that can actually be chasing some of those receiving yard records if he's able to play in the league and keep it going for another, 4 or 5 years. And it's totally feasible. And just Baker Mayfield, Get our boy Mike Evans another 30 points. I want to ride him through the fantasy playoffs, and we need to see him get 1,000 yards. So it's for everybody. This one isn't just for the fantasy people.
He's a special player. He's a special player, and I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to do it. Baker's having himself a year, and so is Mike Evans. So hats off to him if he can get it done. I don't know who they're playing in their final four, so we'll have to kind of maybe look at that, what kind of defenses they're up against, but I'm feeling pretty
not
confident.
Not much under the Chargers this week. My buddy was telling me, oh, Justin Herbert, like every expert out there said you got to start him over Jared Goff. And I'm like, well, like you should probably start listening to an actual sports show than Bushleague Sports, because we could have told you you're going to start Jared Goff in the highest scoring game of probably the entire year over everybody. But Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, said it last week, was correct. So, like, I mean, come on, people. When are we going to get our credit? Step aside Matthew Berry, TKB, and Sleeper here.
Oh man, the next game, brother. The next game we didn't do. I mean, the battle of the horses, man. The Colts.
I didn't make my own thing, but I made a clip about it and I wrote out a cool thing. But like, yeah,
the battle of the horses, man. Broncos are looking good. Broncos are looking good, priming themselves for the playoffs right now. I love to see it. Love to see your Broncos getting some wins after the shit they've had the last couple of years.
These are our Broncos. This is our team. We bleed orange. Beat the Colts, stupid horses. We're going to whoop their silly butts. Make them quit like Andrew Luck. Go Broncos!
Clip it. Wrap it. Send it. Sell it. Oh, man.
I didn't know. I just winged it. I could have done better probably, but I just swung one out. But, you know, bro. Oh, and then you got to do like he does. He's standing there every time. And then he clips it out at the end, and he's like, wait. He sings this song. He sings the song, and then he's like, nay, and the chair appears every time. I noticed it. He clips it every time, and he clips a nay. Why don't you throw a fresh nay in there every week, bud? Why you got to clip a nay? It's like he was like, this is the perfect nay, and I must run it every week. Either way, Schultz, the fan of the year of the Colts. He's a beauty. But Broncos, far superior horse, not even close.
Yeah, shout out to the Broncos all the way. Hey, what do you got next? Who's next? Cardinals, Pats. Cardinals, Pats.
Love it. Nope. And that was a Kyler Murray, 10 fantasy points. Marvin Harrison, 6. Absolute dud. Not what we wanted. Anybody who was out there this week in fantasy land was hoping for a lot more out of anybody and everybody this week. So that sucked. I mean, it hurt me badly to get 16 points out of those two guys. I have a fantasy roster this year in the Sunnyvale where my 2 QBs were Kyler Murray and Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston got me -2. Kyler Murray got me 10 points. With Marvin Harrison getting 5, I mean, I got a total of 13 points from my 2 quarterbacks and basically my number 1 receiver. So I'm doomed. That is why it is over in Sunnyvale for me this week. Shouts to Arizona blowing it. Absolutely. Bengals would have got one more touchdown, would have helped, but nope.
Well, Arizona this year has just been they've been off, and you hope they can turn it around. I mean, they're not a playoff team by any stretch of the imagination this season. So it'll be interesting. Marvin Harrison Jr. was just this highly touted receiver, the best in the draft this year. People were picking him high, talked about it last week, and we are where we are now.
Yep, for sure. And then moving on to what is
doozy,
easily the best game of the week. I think we all knew that was going to be the highest scoring game, or at least that's what I call it. Like last week, there was a huge scoring game last week, 44-42, where I was like, okay, there's a chance that one could be it, but I still had hope for this one being the highest scoring game of the season, and it didn't disappoint. Both teams, unreal offenses. I mean, the defense is just more than likely got their hands full out there without question. And it's crazy. So I want to get your take on that game for a second. Well, I see we have a whole bunch of comments, so I'm going to see what's going on here.
No worries. So Jared Goff, he sees Josh Allen last week, 3 touchdowns.
Let's go.
Creative Owls, I love it. You see Jared Goff.
He's got some OB chatter in there too. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no worries. Where I was going was Jared Goff he saw the 3 touchdowns rushing, 3 touchdown passing last week by Josh Allen. He said, I'm going to raise you five passing TDs this week, nearly 500 yards passing, man. Jared Goff, the Lions, though the loss today, I hope and I pray that this was a prequel to the Super Bowl this year, because I mean, we're in for some fireworks for the rest of the year.
And I would love to see that being the Super Bowl. I can't remember. We're going to have to tune back to the beginning of the season. I want to say that I might have had the 49ers somewhere in the mix, but I'm pretty sure I might have picked those 2 teams that go to the final, didn't I? I can't remember what we picked. We're going to have to cue it back. That's why we're going to need the blog, which will be coming to Bush League Sports in 2025, because we're going to put down our predictions in that blog every week. We're going to get the SEO churning on Google. We're going to be absolutely buzzing. But then we'll have a record. We'll be able to go back and say, hey, what did we actually say? Because it's hard to go back and actually try to find the clip of it again. Well, I guess if we were clipping it like we were now, we might have them. But either way, we'll have to go back and try and find that, because I want to say that I did say those 2 teams, and I would love it if that's who ends up there.
Yeah, I don't remember what you said, but again, wild game, all offense, little defense, just great for football, man. So much fun. And 2 teams that haven't won, right? Haven't won. Do they have Super Bowls? The Lions have to.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, no, I'm putting myself on the spot too. I just scratch
the
that.
Lions don't. The Lions
it.
don't. As for Buffalo, I can't remember, but I know the Lions don't.
Yeah, I mean, 2 teams that if the Buffalo hasn't, if they have ever, they haven't in forever. So 2 teams that you'd love to see in that position to win a Super Bowl.
And then before we keep moving on, and if you're watching at all, please give it a like, give it a share, spread the word. We're going to get into a little later some of our fantasy leagues and rips and stuff coming up a little later. But we got one more game to get into, and then we're going to move on to some timed out stuff. But last game, your team takes a loss to the Eagles, 27-13. I want to know your takes and then what the Steelers' playoff hopes are looking like this year.
Yeah, the battle of Pennsylvania, Philly versus Pitt. Philly's a good team. Pittsburgh definitely has some work to do. Philly's defense hasn't been that strong, and for Pittsburgh to only put up 13's a little low, lower than I would want. Russ had didn't pass a whole lot. 14 for 22, 128, 1 touchdown to Muth, to Freiermuth. So it is what it is. It's a long season right now. The Steelers are sitting in I think they're still at number 3 going into the playoffs here. So they'll see a strong team early in the playoffs. So it could be Baltimore, Pittsburgh right off the bat, which would be wild.
Love it. No, that would be interesting to see that battle go down. And Najee kind of slowed down for fantasy purposes this week. Didn't do all that great. And we're going to touch right away on all our fantasy implications and where he might be sitting for next week. But that about wraps up week 15. So we're going to dive into a little bit of fantasy.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Beauty. Well, week 15 is basically a wrap. We got the game on the go right now. But week 16, we're going to be looking at anybody who's moving on to round 2 in the playoffs. Or if you're like us playing in some of the Bush League Dynasty leagues, I make it so that in the playoffs, you gotta win. Like, you can't. Getting last place in the season doesn't get you first pick. Everybody who's in the consolation bowl, you got to play that out. And so then, like, in the end, whoever wins the final match of the consolation bowl gets first pick, and the other guy would get second. And then the next match, like, whoever in the bowl, whoever wins those matches gets the higher pick. And then kind of the reverse for the people that make the playoffs. You get first, you get last pick, etc. But so always kind of something on the line with all those different leagues, etc. But going into week 16, if you've made it that far, obviously shouts to you. And we do all our leagues that we'll get into after this on Sleeper, one of the best fantasy apps out there. But we got their rankings up here right now that you can see on their player listing. You can go in their projections for week 16, and they got their top 5 listed as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. And obviously for us, I'm not putting Kyler Murray anywhere in your top 5. Personally, we got a list that's looking a little bit different. One guy you won't see on the list that we're going to be taking up this week is our boy Sam Darnold. He's going to be coming in at number 5 for the squad. looking impressive this week. Been very consistent. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Addison coming on strong. So good to see Sam Darnold sitting at number 5 for us this week.
How about this guy, man, coming in and just taking over that QB1 spot in Minnesota and just having himself a season. He's got Hawkinson back now, obviously the best receiver, arguably the best receiver in the game, catching balls, man. I think this is a solid pick here. He is my starting QB in my sassy fantasy league here under Bushleague Sports. It's somebody that I'm stoked about, and I think that he's an easy start here moving into the playoffs. Absolutely.
And as if you've seen me rolling through everybody sitting over on the Baltimore Ravens, we got Mark Andrews, who is the main man this week, putting up some good numbers, a little bit of Zay Flowers, no Rashad Bateman. But Lamar Jackson goes into next week as my number 4 guy. They're going to have him ranked a little higher, but I just think that matchup is a little tougher for him next week as opposed to some of the other guys. He's going up against Pittsburgh, your team. They didn't do a great showing this week, but I think it's usually Lamar has Pittsburgh's number, but I think they'll slow him down just enough that he won't be in that top 3 this week.
They got the dub last time. Yeah. They got the dub last time, so Pittsburgh's got it. Sorry. I'm just so excited about Pittsburgh all the time. It's my team.
I know. I love it. You got to have it. Joe Burrow coming in at number 3 for us this week. He's been solid and just very, very consistent, even though they haven't been getting the results they've wanted. He's been putting up absolute dominant numbers. Jamar Chase helps to have him on the other side. He catches the ball, does wonderful things every week. So Joe Burrow coming in at number 3 for us. And then our big dog, Josh Allen. I mean, how could you not put him? We're probably insane not to put him at number 1, coming off of what is now 95 points in the last 2 weeks. And again, if you're not playing fantasy on Sleeper, get the Sleeper app. I don't know what you're doing. It's the best fantasy football
best
app
in the game.
But Josh Allen, just dominant. But I got a little bit of a sleeper coming up at number 1 this week. You might not like it, or you might. Who's to say? But I am going with our boy Baker Mayfield. They're going to feed the rock. Mike Evans he got 30 points this week. Mike Evans needs to get 1,000 yards. Baker's been consistent as hell. And I think that next week, I don't think he's getting 50 points. I just think I don't think we're going to see anybody getting 40, 50 points next week. I think Baker's going to top the house with about 35 next week. He's going to be the man to watch for our quarterbacks.
Baker's going to be money, man. Baker is always money. He's Money Mayfield, right? Just like Floyd, Money Mayfield. I want to give you one sleeper that's not on there that I have. I got Jordan Love as a sleeper this week against New Orleans.
I was going to put him on the list.
Yeah.
So good call.
Yeah. Against New Orleans, he's having himself a year as well. So Jordan Love, not a bad pickup and play in your league. You're probably not picking him up anymore, but not a bad play if he's on your roster.
Absolutely. Well, let's fly through the running backs here. You can see the top 5 and the order that you're going to see the projections for Sleeper app next week. For myself, rankings are slightly different. Going with number 5, who is sitting way down the list for whatever reason, but our man, Joe Mixon, number 5. He is sitting there behind Henry. He's who I'm going number 5. You want to give us number 4, Bush League stat line?
Yeah, number 4, Saquon Barkley, the number 1 running back in the league right now, in the chase for MVP. Got him at number 4 this week against Washington.
Yeah, and people might call me crazy. Why is he not 1, 2, or 3? And that's fair. I got a couple guys who I think are going to perform a little solider. They got him way down the list, who I got at number 3, Jamar Gibbs, coming off another 26-point performance. I just think that against Chicago, Jamar is going to feast the way that offense and defense project and line up. I think he's going to just absolutely dominate and be able to put up numbers. As much as Saquon's a big fancy object, I think it's going to be him putting up the bigger numbers this week.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Any beat down Chicago is okay in my book. Just feed him the rock. Feed him the rock, Jared. Feed him the rock. And then at number 2, this is number 2, Alvin Kamara.
Yep, and I got number 1 right beside it.
Go for it.
Josh Jacobs in the same game. I just have a feeling. I don't know why. I just have a feeling They've both been dominant. Jacobs right now is running the ball down everybody's throat. So it's just a cue for what I've had queued up for today. So it's good to see he's living up to what I might think. But I just have a feeling, for some reason, Green Bay too has this history of just like performing when it's fantasy playoffs randomly, when it gets cold, when that snow starts to come down. And I just have a feeling this game's going to be absolutely electric. And the way it stays a running back game is because it stays tight. It's going to be high scoring. And I think we see both those guys absolutely put up numbers. And so I know that might be crazy to say, hey, we're going to have two guys from the same game go 1-2, but we often have two guys from the literal same team in the Detroit Lions go 1-2. So believe it. You heard it here first. Bushleague Sports.
Dude, I hope to see it. I hope to see it. Do you have a sleeper pick this week not in your top 5?
Yeah, as long as our man, and he did good this week, not as good as he did last week with 35 points, but as long as Kenneth Walker stays out, it's going to be Zach Charbonnet. Plug him in. I think he's going to have another big week stepping in behind Kenneth Walker. I'm a dummy for not plugging him in behind myself in Dynasty, but what do you do?
Good. I'd love to see it, man. I'd love to see it. Dude, we had to get over to, all right, here. Creative Al's bringing the stats. Let's go. The Buffalo Bills.
Might have signed him to the show.
Sign him up. Sign him up. Get in here.
Love it. Love it. Well, top 5 wide rights. The first one on the list, a guy who, everybody's going to hate me for it. Do I say it? Do you say it? Do I let you say it?
Well, so I'll say it and I'll ask a question. So we were just talking about the goose egg that this individual put up this week in Cooper Kupp. What is your take here? What's your take?
I just think it's revenge week. It's going to happen. I think they're also playing the New York Jets. That's easy feasting unless, you're going to have Sauce Gardner, who probably is going to be putting a pressure on Puka Nacua next week. He's one of the best defenders in the league, but he's already going to have to deal with one of the best receivers in the league. I think that there's a good chance that this is the week where they go, okay, we got to put a little game script towards Cooper Kupp here. And I think that if Sauce Gardner, being the player he is one-on-one with Puka most of the week, this is going to be that opportunity moving over to Kupp. And so I know I'm crazy, but I'm putting him back in it. I think it's a revenge game and just the way it's going to stack up against that defense.
Let's go. I'd like to look at his targets over the last few games and see how many targets he's getting versus Puka and what that's looked like. But that's for later.
We can pull it up. We can pull it up quick. We got Bushleague Sports. We got the technology over here. It's Sleeper app. We can pull it up instantly. But we got Puka Nacua target wise for the last few games: 8 today, 14, 8, 13, 9, 14. So a pretty aggressive, averaging probably around 11 or so. And if we bring up our boy Cooper Kupp right beside it, a little less of a target share, but still healthy in comparison to, honestly, most wide receivers in the game. That his share there, 8, 6, 11, 10, 7, that's probably what the wide weight 1 on most teams is getting. And so I think this week you might see those numbers flip if Sauce Gardner's putting the pressure over on Puka.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see, man. I would love to see it just because you called it.
And for that reason is why you won't see Puka in my top 5. I know they got him number 2, but you won't see him in my top 5 for that reason. I want to play into that defensive aspect of it very hard. And when you really think about who they're lining up against, you might call us Bushleague Sports, but we think about this a little more than our competition.
Talking about who they're lining up against, and we just talked about a running back a minute ago from Detroit. Now we're talking about at number 4 for receivers.
Big game this week. St. Brown, huge. I mean, his numbers they're great. I mean, they don't look astronomical just because of what Jamar Chase is doing. It's absolutely ridiculous. But St. Brown's wide rate 3 on the season and is putting up good numbers, performed this week with a big one. And again, I think it's just an easy matchup. I think Chicago's going to dominate. They're kind of come off a loss, even though it's a loss against one of the best teams in the NFL against the Bills. Detroit don't lose twice in a row. They're going to come fierce, they're going to come angry, and they're going to win big.
Wide right number 3 on the season after a slow start. He had a slow start for the first 2 or 3 games. So just for him to be where he's at is impressive, to say the least.
Yep. And then number 1 projections, number 3 on our list, Jamar Chase. That's who we're putting at number 3, Bushleague Sports. Again, next year we'll have a blog. It'll be fancy. We'll pull up our own blog. It'll look all fancy. We'll have our own graphics. It'll be cool maybe. But for now, we're going Jamar Chase, who's coming off. I mean, look at this. Hold on. We got to pull this up. Look at this. This is ridiculous. So the guy goes he starts slow. You're like, oh boy, 12, 7, and then 31, 18, 44, 12, 17, 20, 11. And then since that, he hasn't, it's just been 61, 26, 20, 47. Like if you go against Jamar Chase in fantasy, you got to just be like, you have to be happy when he only puts up 20 against you. You're like celebrating that, which is insane.
Yeah, I like him. I like him at number 3 here on your list. And sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just stoked for number 2. I'm stoked for number 2.
Your boy, Mike Evans.
I mean, if Baker Mayfield's number 1, he's got to throw it to someone, and that someone is going to be our boy Mike Evans. He's going to have 130 yards, I think, 11 targets, 8 catches, 2 tutties. It's going to be a big game. He's going to keep the fantasy dominance going next week.
I hope so. Would love to see it. Would love to see it, man.
And then number 1, Sam Darnold snuck into the quarterback list. Who's he thrown to? Justin Jefferson. Not a bold call, really, but that's who I think is number 1. So what do you want me to make shit up around here? No.
Don't make shit up, man. Don't make shit up. We'd be Bushleague if that were the case.
And then we got a sleeper pick in there. Honestly, actually just noticed sleeper picks coming off the same team. I don't know if you want to hit him with that one, but absolute stud player. If not, I can fire it up. But
fire it off.
Jackson Smith Najiba, stud. Literally been slow since second year in the league. I traded him this year in Dynasty. I made a good trade. I got Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, and Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and a first round pick. I swapped picks with a guy. Man, just been dominant since I traded him, like making me want to cry. So he'll be my sleeper of the week this week.
Way it goes, man. We got to get over to. We got some more to get through. We got to get over to tight ends real quick. Let's get over to tight ends.
Let's fly through tight ends quick, and then sleepers. So tight ends this week, we're gonna fly through them real quick. We'll pull up the list here over on sleeper, but we're not gonna use it because we're gonna use our own, and we're gonna fly through the tight ends very quick. Brock Bowers, Travis Kelce are topping their list. They're topping ours as well, but in what order? Can't tell you. Sam Laporta, number 5. Mark Andrews going to be number 4 for us in the list this week. He's way down in theirs, but he's going to be number 4 for us. Kittle is our boy coming in at number 3. The really only staple in that offense. Debo's not doing it. McCaffrey's gone. Ayuk's gone. It's just Kittle. It's all Kittle. And they'll hopefully try to give him some stats to close the season. And then just a reverse of what they got. I got Brock Bowers against the easiest defense in the league probably next week at number 1. Kels number 2 for us at Bushleague Sports.
Love it. And then you got Smith in there as your sleeper pick
of the week. Yeah,
he's been a
stud this year from Miami. He's been performing. Jonnu Smith's been a sleeper, just a great pick. He was a guy we talked about at the beginning of the season as well as a guy who we thought would maybe have a breakout season with Miami there, and he's been doing very well. So,
and you got to go Hawkinson too, man. Hawkinson just coming off of the injury, LTIR, just on the IR for the first half of the season, and he's starting to see some numbers. So hopefully he has a game under Darnold as well.
Cool. Well, we'll ramble through defense. Sleepers got your rankings here. They go in Green Bay, Buffalo, Detroit, Vegas, Los Angeles. If you played Detroit this week or Buffalo, you're actually an idiot, because they were playing each other. You should have never done that. That was a stupid move. Bush League play of the week would be if you played Detroit or Buffalo as your defense. That would be the Bush League play of the week. But next week, they got some strong matchups. But for us, you're not going to see me put both those teams in the top 5. Just kidding, you are. They both went negative this week. Next week, they're going to be in the top 5 for Bush League. Number 5, Green Bay. Number 4, sneaking in there, my boys, Denver Broncos.
Who's Denver got? Who does Denver got this week? Who does Denver have this week?
Denver play next week?
Yeah.
Denver is playing the LA Chargers, and so I just think they're going to run all over them. It's a divisional game. Denver always shows out in divisional games, and I'm putting them at number 4. And then we got the Lions, who are playing against Chicago. Again, Lions have been a great defense all year. Just, you're not going to stop Buffalo. Don't even try. Plug them in. I've been running Detroit as my defense for 8 weeks, and it's been great. And this week, I made sure I benched them and streamed someone, and they're going back in next week. And then Buffalo Bills, I think they got an easier matchup against New England. They're coming in at number 2 for us. And then people might call me crazy, but that horrible defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars that I speak of, I actually think they're going to be a dominant defense to be this week. I don't think Las Vegas is doing anything. And call me crazy, nobody's going to agree with that. But I got Jacksonville #1 defense of the week next week.
All right, man. If that happens, we definitely got to reverse this back and see Jacksonville's points. I'm in for it. I support you.
Well, I know we talked a little bit about college last week. We got a Heisman chat we're going to get into here in a couple minutes. I know we got a little debate on that, and obviously a big congrats to the Heisman winner. If you don't know who it was, well, I'm not going to tell you now. You should know, but you'll know in a minute or two. But I know you had a clip you wanted to show off. I know you're an Army vet yourself, and games like this probably something sentimental to you as well too. But a little clip from Dave Portnoy over at Barstool Sports. Shout out to Dave, just a legend of sports, of crypto trading, a beauty. Love the guy, and maybe something we aspire to be a Bushleague Sports, a little bit of a Barstool ourselves. But I love this clip that she sent over. We're going to cue this one up of the whole scene over there. That's sweet.
Just a wild atmosphere. So I wasn't Army or Navy. I was Air Force. However, I mean, this is just a special game. Not a whole lot of college football this weekend as we move into the bowl games, but the Army Navy game does not disappoint. Navy got the dub 31-13 over Army, both strong teams this season. So an interesting way to kind of close out college football here prior to the playoffs. And this has got to be a bucket list.
And that's when they play, right? They always play like kind of right before the college playoffs. It's kind of a yearly tradition type of thing.
Exactly. They're the last game.
Navy comes out with a big win this year too, 31-13.
And they always like rock the dopest uniforms. They have special uniforms for these games. And again, just it's a bucket list item for me is to get to one of these games, one of these Army Navy games.
Nice. And I know you said, I didn't mean to glance over. I know you said you were in the Air Force instead, which is awesome. I guess for me, I'm always like, oh, the Army, every aspect of it is the Army, but I guess it's they are different. There's the Army, there's the Air Force, there's Navy, there's SEALs. They're kind of their own departments, right? Yeah,
right. Exactly. But we support them all, man. If you were in the service in one way, shape, or form, we support you.
Absolutely. Well, I want to get in your thoughts on the Heisman. What do you think? Okay. What do you think about this trophy? I mean, did it go to the right player this year? Do you agree? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I think that Travis Hunter was the only choice, based firstly off his first name. I mean, Travis is a very strong first name. So based purely on that, he deserved the Heisman. But listen, the guy plays more snaps than anybody else in college football. Two-way player, top 6 receiver. I think he played 1,400 snaps this year. No other player is close to that from a pure snaps perspective. The guy's an absolute beast. He's a legend. He's doing what Prime Time did in his time. And there's not going to be another player like him, right? Coaches don't allow this. They want you to be a specialist, and for him to come out here and not be a specialist, maybe be a specialist in 2 different specialties is wild. And again, we won't see this again for years.
And I think I'll debate that personally, because I mean, so you come out and you see, say he's a specialist of both. I really don't think he was that top of a defensive player, but the first thing I want to talk on is it doesn't even translate to the NFL. I mean, you're not going to have any player. NFL's too high paced, too fast. Nobody's going to actually be playing every single down. You haven't seen anybody really come to the NFL and play both productively, because when you watch these guys play, top of the level athletes, and they are tired. They need those breaks. And so It's not something that I think really translates. But when you really, I guess, break it down as well, statistically, which I will in a second, I think there's some to it. But if you look at this as well, I don't see their team in the playoffs. So doesn't that matter? Don't you need to make the playoffs? Isn't that kind of important? Like, don't you need to get your team to the big show, or am I wrong? Does that not matter?
No. So I do like that take. Heisman's this is the first year it's even a 12 team. It's not just the 4 team or the 2 team, and they're not in the 12 team. This is an award based on college performance. This isn't an award based on how you're going to perform in the NFL. This is what you did in college. And this guy played on both sides of the ball. He was a key contributor on both sides of the ball. 4 interceptions on the year, 11 breakups. I don't know if he's the number one cornerback in the league. I don't know if he's the number one defensive back in college football. He's probably not even close. However, he did it. He was a mainstay on the defense, a mainstay on the offense, and has the numbers to prove it. So,
well, yeah, and I like that because I want to bring up those exact kind of stats you talk of in it, because that's kind of what it comes down to when you get to it. And so he had 4 interceptions. So he ranks, I think it puts him tied 18th, but the 4th most interceptions in the league. That would be with 4 picks on the year. When you go to something like tackles, okay, so where's his stats here? He's down at 4. So I can't remember where he was, somewhere in the 18 mark here. Why can't I find him there? Travis Hunter. So when you look at him defensively, so 4 no touchdowns, 4 picks, tackles, 31 tackles. If you go into total tackles, he doesn't even break the top 100 in tackles. So it's cool. He had 4 picks, right on. But I don't know. I don't even look at him as a top 50 defensive player. And so when you got a guy it's something that I don't think really even translates personally to the NFL, and you're not even really a top 50 college defender, is that really Heisman worthy? Because let's take a peek at some of these other stats. I mean, receiving, okay, he was a top 5 receiver in the league. We cannot take that from him at all. And we'll go over to, where is it? Receiving yards here. You see Travis Hunter, number 6 in the league, 1,152 yards, 92 catches, puts him at 5th in the league. And a top guy in touchdowns as well, 14, not the top guy in the whole league. But I mean, so you're top 5 top 5 receiving, and you're a top 50 defender, which is awesome. It's amazing. You're also on the hype train of Deion Sanders, whose son is the quarterback. You're going to have the media going, well, if Deion Sanders is saying Travis Hunter over his own son is the Heisman, that's going to give some merit to this player too, right? Because if he was saying his son, you might be like, oh, it's his son, overlook it, but he's not. So I truly think that plays into it as well. But what I truly think is the standalone thing is just because of what Ashton Gente did. I mean, let's look at these rushing numbers, it is absolutely insane. He literally carried his team. The Boise State, you want to talk about Broncos, Boise State, they got a Bronco. This guy is the Bronco. He literally carried the team on his back with basically 2,500 yards, and he doesn't get it. Look at statistically. You got basically 10, 15 guys that are within 200 yards of each other. That's kind of the standard of a stud year, 1,600 to 1,400 yards. This guy has 2,500 yards. He's tied for the most tutties in the league. And he gets Boise State a bye week. Literally, without him, they are not in the playoffs. They're nowhere. So how do you give this to Travis Hunter over Ashton Gente, who literally blew his opposition out of the water, got his team into the playoffs? I give a crap about 5th overall receiver, 50th defender, because you're not doing any of that in the NFL anyways.
I'm not discounting your argument at all. I like it. I think it's valid. I think that, a counter to that would be Boise State.
My feelings are valid.
Yeah, for sure. Your feelings are definitely valid. Boise State didn't play anybody. They played Oregon. They lost to Oregon. Oregon's the number 1 team in the nation. That was the only loss for Boise State. But other than that, they didn't play anybody. They played UNLV, might have been the other top 25 team that they played this year. However, you could probably say the same for Colorado as well. They didn't play any of the top teams in the nation for the most part. So either way, you and I can't change anything. Travis Hunter is your Heisman this year, and for me, I'm here for it. For you, I get your feelings.
I respect it. I mean, for a guy who didn't even know the Boise State logo last week, I'm pretty opinionated on the Heisman this week. But wish it goes.
Oh, too fun, man. Too fun. I'm stoked to get you into college football next year. I'm stoked to see your flip here.
Nice. Well, we want to get into, we got 5 minutes. We're running late. We only got so much time left to do in the show. So we're going to put the pressure on thanks to Bam Bam Fitness. We got 5 minutes. We're going to plug it in the top corner. We're going to get this out of there, and we're going to get rolling with a little bit of our Week 16 predictions. You got her on the backside there. We're going to fly through her.
I have her up. Let's go.
Thursday nighter, my boys, the Broncos Chargers. Obviously, it's going to be the Broncos. They're going to keep it running. The divisional game, top 3 defense of the week, Broncos.
Listen, I'm going Broncos too, man. I love your enthusiasm, and it's Bronco time. Does that they say that? It's Bronco time. They should say that.
What did they say? Russ was trying to give it some let's ride, and while he was there, it was let's hide. But now I think it's nay. We're taking over the Colts saying there. Texans Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Going to be a good game. We're going to see what last year we thought was the future of the NFL and CJ Stroud against the current in Patrick Mahomes. Is it going to be an upset? No. I don't think the Texans have it this year. Chiefs win.
Absolutely. I agree. Moving on to Ravens. Yeah. I got to go Steelers all the way because I never pick against the boys. Hopefully they can get it done against a powerful Ravens team out coming off a win.
I respect it. I will take the Ravens.
All right. Bills, Pats. This one's easy, right?
Easy pickings. Bills.
Moving
Giants, Falcons.
Falcons.
Danny DeVito gonna do it? No? Falcons?
Yeah, Falcons for sure.
Yeah, just because it's at home. I think they'll get it home. Lions, Bears, you were supposed to call that one, but I said it for you, and I think we both know who's winning that one. Lions.
Yep. Moving on.
Cardinals, Panthers.
Yeah, Cardinals at home.
Panthers are going to win. I'm going to make the Bushleague call of the week. Panthers are going to beat the Cardinals. You got to pull your crap together, Kyler Murray. I'm sick of it.
Love it. Jets and Rams. We talked a little bit about Puka. We talked a little bit about Cooper Kupp. I think we're talking about a Rams win today.
Yep, and I think we will be talking about that one for sure over the Jets. I think they're going to come in. They still have playoff aspirations. The Jets do not. The Jets are out there trying to play spoiler right now. But we got Cooper Kupp shooting for a top 5 next week. Rams get the win.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Eagles, Commanders.
I want to see a Commanders upset here. I want the Commanders to get the win.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Jane Daniels at home. I don't know why, but I'm going to do it.
I'll take it as well, man. I'll take the Commanders as well.
We're
Big
crazy.
dub.
Browns, Bengals.
It's got to be the Bengals, right? Unless Jameis is praying to baby Jesus now, it might be.
He's got it. Yeah, he ain't getting delivered from no pick sixes. So whatever he's doing it wrong. We need to get the Bengals are going to get the win.
All righty, Colts and Titans. This is bottom of the barrel game here. I like the Colts. To get the dub here. Titans defense isn't bad. Titans defense puts up some fantasy points week in and week out. So it'll be an interesting one. What do you think?
I want to just beak them and say something about the Broncos taking their horseshoes and they're going to need a week to recover or something. But I think they'll get the win. Titans aren't that great. So Colts are going to take the win at home.
Agree.
Vikings, Seahawks. I interrupted you again, but that's the one. I think it's going to be Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson over Geno and the boys. If Geno's even playing, I don't know. He's not playing right now, so see if he's in next week.
Yeah, I like the Vikings in this game as well.
Jags, Raiders.
You picked the Jags. You're picking the Jags. Right. I mean, I'm telling you, you're picking the Jags. Yeah, Jags #1 defense off the Bushleague board this week.
Yep, they're going to be stumping the Raiders. I got Jags going with the win this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders just to challenge that low scoring game.
Speaking of the Raiders are playing tomorrow night, right? On a Monday nighter. They're one of the Monday night games. Shout out to my buddy Beaker. He's down there for the game. Probably with my buddy Earl. Who got season tickets, so they're down there for the game. Hope they have a good one. Should be a fun one.
Yeah.
Dolphins, 49ers. Will the Dolphins do something? Yeah, there's two Monday nighters.
I'm all over the place. Yeah.
There's two.
Yeah,
49ers.
I think the Dolphins got it.
Yep, they're at home, and I think they'll need to keep. They'll need to do something after that loss this week. So hopefully they can get her done over the 49ers. Again, all they got is Kittle. So. Bucks, Cowboys.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Cowboys. I'm gonna take Cowboys. I'm taking Cowboys.
I respect your hometown hustle. I'm going with the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, and with 10 seconds on the clock, tick, tick, tick. Saints, Packers. What do you got?
Go Pack, go, man. Packers got this in the bag.
I think so too. I put a couple of their players in our top 10, so that's the one. You'll love to see it. Shouts to Bam Bam Fitness for putting the hustle on the boys and locking us in. Appreciate that every week. You can head over to bambamsfitness.com by scanning that QR code up above Sleep's beautiful head. Check them out. We'll have a plug for them at the end of the show. Nice little outro. You can stay tuned. Check out how to get yourself a free fitness membership. So stay tuned to the end of the show and we'll run that at the end. But speaking of that, let's run into something else that involves maybe a little bit of arse whoopings and whatnot. A little UFC. We'll run into that while we're chatting about Bam Bam's fitness. We may as well chat about a little UFC. He trains a lot of different guys who actually are in the UFC for boxing, up and coming MMA guys. And I know we'll be chatting and doing some MMA rips with Joel in the new year on the Ringside Banter show. So I'm looking forward to doing some of that. It'll be fun and chatting with him about different sporting events. But let's just do a quick run through UFC card last night. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I didn't. I'm actually pretty bummed about it because I religiously watch the games and unfortunately we had a Christmas party, so I missed it. But our boy Colby, not getting it done. Is that correct?
So yeah, there was a stoppage. We'll get into that right at the end of it all. But
man, sorry, we'll start at the bottom.
Yeah, well, yeah, you gotta save the best for last, my friend. Don't you know the one?
Love it, man.
But,
Love it.
Lots of canceled fights. Navarro Sterling with a decision win. It only it started off with 2 decisions back to back. Adrian Yanez gets a decision over Daniel Marcos, ending the other way. Daniel Marcos gets it over Yanez, keeping his undefeated streak alive. Same with Navarro Sterling, keeping his alive. The 2 decisions, so playing it safe, keeping that undefeated record, getting it done, and then just a glory of TKOs to close out the last UFC of the year. And that's that's what we want to see. You want to see some violence as they close out the card and take a Christmas holiday, all the boys. But Vitor Pinheiro with the 3rd round KO of Dustin Jacoby. That was a good battle. I don't know if you got to watch any of them, but they fought hard and in the end ended up clipping them. Like, pretty respectful fight. Like at the end of the 2nd round, they kind of gave each other a hug to start the 3rd round, and they were both pretty respectful of each other. It was at points where they were throwing hard and at points where maybe they were kind of letting it easy at the end of the round out of respect. And then in the 3rd round, it was kind of just let it all go and put it all on the table. And Jacoby ended up clipping him with if I recall, it was a right. He just clipped him clean, dropped him, kind of came in with one hammer fist, and the ref ended it. And almost, minute left in the fight, they would have went the distance too. And that kind of started the rally of KOs. But it was a good, solid knockout for sure.
Yeah, you love those where it's the 3rd round and they're swinging like there's no tomorrow. It doesn't look like that was totally the case because there was still about 1:15 left. So it wasn't like the Holloway draws the line in the middle of the ring and Haymaker City. But no, cool to see, man. Cool to see.
Yep, for sure. And then Manuel Cape gets the KO over Bruno Silva. Again, in the 3rd round, a lot of 3rd round action, if not all 3rd round action in the UFC. And then Cub Swanson against Billy Quarantillo. Cub Swanson, love him. He's been in the UFC for a long, long time, a veteran of the game. I always enjoy watching all his fights.
He's amazing. To see Cub Swanson's name on this list, getting a win it makes my day, man. He's such a legend.
For sure. And his wife, she does a lot. Well, not so much anymore because I think she's more, a mom now. But she kind of I think she still does some, but she did a lot of announcing and stuff for UFC. I actually got to see her fight against Sam Shocker at one of the Ellis Manias. She was kind of one of the celebrity fights or whatever back then. So Cub Swanson was down because all those UFC guys used to come to all those events. But it was kind of cool. And so I've always kind of just had this love for them as a family because they've entertained me and they're cool people, and I'm just always rooting for Cub Swanson. Good. So it's cool to see him get a win. Every time he gets in there, I'm just I hope Cub wins.
Same here.
And then the final fight of the night, Kobe Covington, love him, hate him. He's a showman. I think he puts on a lot more of a show than people want to call him a piece of crap and whatever else. He might not be that big of a piece of shit as people think. I know he definitely plays a large character. He probably is somewhat of that person too, but plays a large character. But that fight ends due to a doctor's stoppage. I guess I was seeing some clips coming out today. Chael Sonnen was quartering him, saying he was maybe going to throw in the towel because Kobe was just kind of getting pumped and beat up a little bit and maybe wanting to save his fighter. But the doctor stopped it with a big gash on top of his eyeball there, and that ended in the third round. But Kobe Covington, gets going. I know Dana White. Oh, I'm spilling on the Sunnyvale. Can't be having that. I know Dana White said he didn't think it'd be stopped if it was in Vegas, but I guess we'll see. But Kobe Covington puts on a battle and goes down bleeding to end the season for UFC.
Yeah, Colby is a heel or the heel of the UFC. And, you love him or you hate him. The guy puts up good fights. He's, a wrestler by trade, but he knows how to brawl. So seeing him get the loss, I'm indifferent on it. I did see a picture of the cut. So not shocked that it was a doctor stoppage.
Nice. Well, this is the part where we chat a tiny little bit of hockey. You know how we switch the segments? I just switch hats. Show some Vayner Sports Pass. Get yourself some hats, some merch. They got all the goods. You can also get their NFTs. I know me and you are big fans of the digital membership market. Trading Sassy has one they put out in Vayner Sports. Is probably one of the best, big time. Like you guys are an action sports thing with Shredding Sassy, and Vayner Sports is probably one of the biggest, football, basketball, soccer type NFTs, getting access to all kinds of games, different stuff. So make sure you guys check them out. But we want to pull up a clip, something that I think is just absolutely insane. I know you sent it over, and I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's a little nuts to see the man out there. But we got the big dog back out skating with the Caps, coming like 2 weeks off of getting a broken leg and having surgery on it. And the guy's just out there putzing around. What the? And it looks like he's like, I just wouldn't even do it. Don't you want your leg to heal? You've got to. Whatever.
Yeah, if it was their silver bullet and they needed him, but honestly, they don't need him right now. They're still performing at the highest level. They're 7-2-1. I think since he's since he's been out. And dude, give the guy another month. Give him a little longer. He had a broken fibia, for God's sakes. I don't know, how broken it was, but he had a broken fibia.
Just a Russian machine just out there skating 3 weeks after a broken in half leg. Buddy, you can take a rest. You can catch Gretzky next year, dude. It's all good.
If I'm Ovi,
it doesn't affect the games. It doesn't affect the games played to do it in record, right? It just
if I'm Ovi, though, I'm trying to get that record as soon as possible. He's 27 goals.
But if you fuck that leg up worse, now you're out now you're risking not doing it next year. Yeah. So rest it up, take your time, get the rest of the goals this year on a healthy leg, and finish it next year.
He's the Russian machine, man. I think he's got 27 left. That's just going to be so hard to do
on a broken leg. Yeah,
in a half a season. So it could happen. Right. It still may happen.
And then moving on, our favorite tool to use for fantasy playoffs and fantasy hockey is Daily Faceoff. That's where you can dial in your lineup, see who's playing on what lines, get really scoped in. But for us, the biggest tool, as always, is Man Games. And we'll just do a quick run through on her this week. We got teams playing 4 games this week: Colorado, Oilers, Florida, LA Kings, Ottawa, Seattle, and our team of the week, because they're playing that 4 games in 6 days, Vancouver playing there, and Caps. Those are our teams. We're going 4. Vegas is 2. We're avoiding them this week along with the Islanders. And then, pretty even schedule, 3 games. As normal, got a stack Saturday, stack Thursday. So you're, plugging in where you can. Vancouver's going to hit on both those days. So you might want to check your lineup. If you already have a full roster Thursday, Saturday, when the week starts, taking that guy from the Vancouver might not actually make the most sense. Might be more sensible to come along and take a guy from, let's say, Florida, who actually skips Thursday and Saturday games and plays on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So you just got to look at your lineup, right? I give a suggestion. I give some ideas on what I think is the best, but you also have to go in, look at your own roster, see what your configuration is, because if you're going to make that pick, sure, you're going to get those games and you're going to be able to drop that guy on the Saturday for a Sunday guy. But if you can only get 2 games, whereas if taking that player from, say, Florida plugs you in for 4 games, maybe it's a smarter play. Depending, again, on how many moves you get, et cetera, in your league.
I love the Florida play here. Just looking at that, I love the Florida play this week because you are going to have openings on Monday. You're going to have openings on Wednesday, and you're going to have openings on, what is that? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're going to have no way your roster is completely full those days, just based on the limited number of games. So,
yeah, and you also might look at it and see any of these other teams with 4 games. You might look and you might see a guy like Nugent Hopkins or someone that's on waivers, and you might just think that they're a superior player and want to go that route too, right? And it's whatever. But I think the biggest thing is always, again, in hockey through those weeks is the most man games you can play. If you can play 56 man games compared to your opponent's 50, it's huge because you're going to probably get 12, 15
block
shots
on goal,
etc. It's not all leagues play into those back end stats, but I know we do, and that's how we like to structure our roster, especially in a league like that. I actually try to get my D-men to be basically, I don't even care if they score goals or do anything. I just want to see D-men that get hits and get block shots. And I try to get all my points out of my forwards. And I literally roster Jeremy Lazan in one of my leagues because he gets like 8 hits a night. It's just a cheat code. I'm guaranteed to get like 30, 40 hits a week just from him. Nobody's ever touching me in hits because it's just not. I got Jeremy Lazone and like Radko Gudas, right? Those are just like they're strictly for that stat, right? But if you build your team with other guys earlier, you can literally just grab these guys at the end that nobody wants, who are literally just going to hammer hard on 1 or 2 stat categories, and that's what I've found consistent winnings over the years.
Absolutely, man. I've been having so much fun in fantasy hockey, and I'm actually excited to win my fantasy football leagues this season, and then I can kind of just transition and focus purely on fantasy hockey. It's happening. I'm stoked.
Nice. I love it. Well, speaking of fantasy, we should get into our Friends Fantasy Football League here. I think we haven't touched on that a whole lot yet this year, but we're going to. Where's the best view here? I don't know what the best view is for us. That one? Are we gone?
Yeah, we're going. We go.
There we go. This one. Here, hold on. I'm going to edit it. Oh, I can edit that one. When I do this one, I can't make clips out of it because it doesn't really show us very well. We get all fuzzy and shit, but that's okay. Either way, for anybody that's been following along in the Friends Fantasy League, we got 6 communities going head-to-head in Bushleague Sports League this year. We'll be launching a new website in the new year with drafts, rips, all kinds of fun stuff going on. But this year in the Friends Fantasy League, Week 14 just wrapped up. We got VSP taking out the Accutars, 1392 to 1306. Shredding Sassy with maybe one of the highest scores of the season, actually, 1553 against Not Okay Bears. They're
not okay.
They're falling behind. They're just not okay. They're doing really absolutely not okay. Bushleague Beauties with a dominant score, which I actually thought was going to be potentially the high score. But so we must have just had some crazy players going this week. Bam Bam Bulldogs, we take them out. And so a couple big wins the last few weeks. You guys had a tight win right there. We had a barely loss against the Jets. It's been a few couple tight weeks here over the last few. But going into week 15, this is the last week of the season. That will determine the finals for the playoffs. As you can see here, we got all kinds of prizes that have been given out throughout the season. And then Bush League Glory, 2 teams eliminated, Bam Bam's Fitness, Not Okay Bears. The playoffs, fully undetermined. They're going to get set at the end of this week. We won't know till Monday night who it is because it's been a tight race here. As you can see, I think I can pull it up here. Does that fill in the screen nice?
It does. It does. It's perfect.
So what we got here is you guys have actually just pulled up into first. You guys went 3-0. Accutars went 2-1 the last couple weeks. And you guys have the most points in the league, 1981. So Shredding Sassy, chance to go to the finals. We got a beautiful prize coming as well in week 17. The 2 communities that make the finals, whoever scores, even if you're not in the playoffs in your league, that's a cool thing about this tournament. Everybody in every league is still playing for prizes. If you're not setting your lineup, only cheating yourself, only cheating your teammates because you can still win a ton of stuff, right? And so going into that final week, the 2 communities that make that final, we got the high score prize from my buddy Big E at SE Collects at New York. They're giving away a signed Tyreek Hill jersey. It's pretty sick prize, but everybody's got to, you got to be getting those wins. You got to be stacking it. All 12 community members need to be setting their lineups in order to get those wins. And as we see, Bam Bam Bulldogs, Not Okay Bears, both eliminated from the playoffs so far. But it's going to come down to everything. So this week, basically, if you guys get the win, you'll probably take it home because you have a 300-point lead, right? You'll probably end in first. If AccuTires gets the win and you don't, they'll flip you into first, right? And then same with us down below with VSP. We have more points. We actually are chasing you for most points in the league, right behind, only 70 points back, even though we're in fourth. Just kind of tough schedule for the Bush League beauties. But VSP and us, same thing. If we win, we'll pull ahead of them because of points. If we don't, we'll stay in fourth. So who knows? It could be me and you. Our community's going head to head. Really, like all four outcomes are still on the table. So that's pretty cool to get down to it. Final week, and then week 16 and 17 will be our playoffs. And again, for anybody who doesn't understand, each community has their own league. They're playing to crown a champion, just like any fantasy league. And then every week we tally all their points. They go head to head against another community. It's this cross community play, sharing prizes, discovering each other's IP. It's been pretty fun and pretty dominant outcome from Sassy. Last year, Bush League stayed 1 all year. Sassy stayed 2, and Bush League cleaned it out. This year, it's looking a little different.
We struggled. Sassy struggled early in the season, but looks like a pretty solid turnaround. But like you said, it don't matter once you hit the playoffs. The 4 teams are set. The standings, where they're at in the standings, are not set. It's anybody's game. It is anybody's game right now.
I love it. I love it. Well, we are going to get into a little maybe Sassy shred report. I know you guys got a couple things coming up in the year. I'm going to get set up to do a little pack rip to close us out, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hit
All
that
right.
promo.
Hit that, baby.
Shredding Sassy is a social club for action sports enthusiasts from all over the world to share the love and stoke for action sports. We got chapters in Canada. We got chapters in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. We're all over the place bringing action sports to communities near you. We got discounts. We got live events. We have anything you want from an action sports perspective. So tap in with the social club. Get things like coaching from pros. Get access to pro athletes at events, in person, right to you. It's going to be a great year for Sassies, and we want you in the social club. Join the Sassies, and let's get out there, y'all.
All right, everybody. As you know, I'm stoked on Sassy, out of my mind every day. So stoked that we are doing a in-person Sassy meetup at North Star Mountain Resort in Lake Tahoe on December 30th. That's Monday, December 30th. I'll be out there. My guy Jacoby's out there, and everybody in the Sassy community in Tahoe is going to be meeting up with us. So if you want to meet up with us and hang out with us in Tahoe, we'll be at North Star. Please DM me, DM Jacoby. Reach out to the Shredding Sassy accounts on Instagram, on YouTube. Reach out to them on X, and we'll get you there. That is Monday, December 30th. Sassy Social Club community meetup at North Star Mountain Resort in North Lake Tahoe. But that's not all. There's one other event that's coming up that we're really excited about. Shredding Sassy is dropping their hat collection. They have the tech-enabled hats coming out that, I mean, it's just really excited. All the things that you can do.
They come with pins too, if I recall, right?
They do. Each hat's going to come with its own pin, have different rarities to the pins. Obviously pins are kind of a big thing in the Olympic world and other small niches. So looking forward to kind of bringing that pin collect vibe into the world of action sports here with Shredding Sassy. So there's a hat launch party and skate event happening in Faro, Portugal on January 4th. Again, if you're in Portugal or you're looking to go to Portugal for this event, please reach out. We'll have more.
I know I had a great time at the events we did last year too. Obviously, we were out in Auburn. We've talked about that quite a few times. Those are some fun events, and Shredding Sassy does some cool ones. There was one done out in Portugal by the founders as well, and always some fun stuff happening.
Yeah, there's been a lot. They had the surf event in Portugal. They've had a skate event in Switzerland. Just all kinds of great stuff happening in Sassy land. So shout out to them. Man, that's your quick down and dirty Sassy shred report on this beautiful Sunday.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, here we're going to add this up. We got a new little pack rip station today. We're going to be ripping some packs here in a minute or two. So we got a whole nice setup. I think we'll get into another Panini Contenders. We only got so many weeks of football left, so we better rip some more football, I'm thinking. But before we get into that, I know that you got a special guy that may be Shredder of the Week, an absolute beauty. I'm stoked to get into that and chat about it. You want me to play a clip?
Yeah. Well, let's so the sassy shredder of the week, the Bushleague Sports Shredder of the Week, whatever we want to call it. Nick Baumgardner, Olympian gold medalist, US gold medalist, won the Olympics at the age of 40, got the gold medal at the age of 40 in border cross. I got to meet him, have a great conversation with him a couple of weeks ago on the Thrash Talk podcast with Keith Gable. He was competing this week over in Italy. Did not go the way he wanted it to, but the guy's an absolute legend. It takes the bumps and bruises and learns from it and moves on. So check out this clip from Nick's Instagram. It's pure gold.
Oh, I might have to give this one a recycle too here. Hold on.
No worries, man. Instagram laying us down. Whoop. Didn't quite make it over that first hump. But again, dude, when you're a professional athlete, you've been doing it as long as this guy, you don't do anything but bounce back here. Whoop. Poor guy.
Absolutely, man. And I enjoyed it. I watched your guys' episode there with him, and very entertaining conversation. He's quite a beauty, and you guys do some pretty cool conversations on that show with all kinds of different athletes. It's been fun to watch the expansion of your guys' podcast, and I think you guys are on YouTube and a few other places you can be found, eh?
Yeah, we're everywhere. Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Amazon. We're on X, we're on Instagram, live stream on Instagram. Keith is just a legend. Keith, pro snowboarder, also for Team USA. Just a great dude. And what we're trying to do, man, is we're trying to have ordinary conversations with extraordinary people. Focusing on the action. Yeah, focusing on the action sports industry. So, be on the lookout for more to come from Thrash Talk here really soon.
Yeah, and go give them a like and a subscribe over on YouTube. Check it out, Thrash Talk Podcast. It's going to try to send you to the Trash Talk Podcast. Don't let it find Thrash Talk. That's the ticket. The boys are there. Scout it out.
Yeah, we need to get past that, man. We need to get enough subscribers, enough views to push overcome the Thrash Talk. Dude, same hoodie. Check that out. Same hoodie today.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Almost the same hat too.
Almost, yeah. Just different colors, different vibes. Yeah. I love it.
But anyway, hey, dude, thanks for letting me talk a little Thrash Talk.
I love it. No worries. Well, let's get into a little pack rip. Again, we got the Panini Contenders this time. Let's see if we can keep me in the view here or not while I rip it. We're trying some new stuff. We got a new view, but I don't know. What do you think? You like this? You like this one?
This is perfect. Yeah, I like it a lot, man. This is awesome. I love how you have the little the collectibles there in the background as well, man. It's perfect little setup.
A little office stash here, so let's do one of them.
All righty. Who do we got, man? Who do we got today?
Ooh, and here's, before we get into it too, we're gonna be doing some fun stuff around Christmas. I know 28th, I think we're doing a show Sunday. I got some World Juniors we can unbox. See some of the studs who are putting in some goals. We'll be unboxing that in the future. You can tune into the show, check that out. And I got a ton of boxes. You tune in around the holidays. Me and Trav are gonna rip tons of these. I got 3, 4, 5 of them. We're gonna give all of them away. Pretty much all the cards we're going to give away, but you got to like, you got to share, you got to give us a little love. That's all we ask. But we're going to be giving away tons and tons of cards around Christmas, so the people better tune in. We're going to be living it up. But let's see what we get here. We're going to still go. We got a Chicago Bears logo on the very back of this bad boy. I'm going to see what we get. Ooh, that's a good start. What do you think?
Myles Garrett action. Okay. Dude can swing a helmet like nobody else I've ever met, man.
Yep. Harrison Smith, I think I got that card already.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's fine.
Dude, I love these cards. It has their sections. Like it's a cool collectible here.
Yeah, I like the Panini Contenders. I've been enjoying these ones. They put them all upside down though. It makes me have to twist and turn the whole time.
Dude, Justin Tucker struggle city lately. By the way, Justin Tucker, man, I had him. I streamed him a couple weeks ago, and that was the wrong choice.
Yeah, you won't be streaming Trevor Lawrence because he's done for. DK Metcalf dominant as well. Not so, like I said, Jackson Smith-Njigba has been coming on a little bit this season, but there we go. There's a stud right there. Patrick Surtain. I'll put that in the Broncos collection. Ooh, what do we got? Ooh, we got a patch.
Oh, another. We haven't got a patch in a while.
Yeah, we got it. The last one was
TJ
the last one was a
Watt,
good
right?
one. TJ Watt. That was a good patch. What do we got? Blue, Detroit, ball in hand.
Wait, hold on. So check out that bicep. That's Montgomery. What do you think?
No way.
No.
Yeah. He's too white.
I was just gonna say it's a little too light. Yeah.
87, is that Laporta?
Oh, that is a white arm. Okay. I thought it was like
Sam Laporta. We got a Sam Laporta rookie patch. That's
ticket.
actually sick.
There you go.
That's actually pretty sweet, man. I'm a big fan of Laporta. I got a couple Laporta rookies, but I do not have a patch. It's not I don't think it's a numbered one. What do we got at the back here? Oh, Rashawn Johnson, Stallion. Is it numbered? You would think it would be as a patch because that TJ Watt one was numbered. I don't see a number on it. It says variation, but either way, Sam Laporta rookie patch. Let's send that in for grading. Get her up on the site eventually for the Detroit fans. But I like that little setup there. Here's a couple other cards we're going to go through too that we've pulled in recent history in the Bushleague layer here. A little Josh Allen Prism. Okay. That's a beauty. Stud player. We'll be getting all kinds of cards up on the site too in the new year here.
Another
Miles Garrett. Quentin Byfield, prospect card. Nice little shiny beauty right there. Anton Lindell, another beauty. Some of the Parkhurst pulls. You were there when we pulled this bad boy. A little ice in the vein.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the icicles hanging.
Here's a card that I picked up off eBay recently. Put in the collection. I have two. Pardon?
I was gonna change subjects on you, so continue. Sorry.
I have two graded ones already, and I picked up a third Heisman rookie. So now I got 3 Heisman rookies in the collection.
So what's that? What's the value of that card? What's the value of that card?
They're not crazy valuable. So it depends what this one's graded. So I have some 7s, 8s. They're probably, I don't know, $80, something like that. $100, but like you get a 10 or a 9 or whatever, it's, now you got a probably $1,000 card or $5,000 card or better. So just you got to hit like the 10 though for a Heisman to be that valuable. So I bought one. I'm gonna send it in, get it graded, one that I thought was in very good condition.
Love it.
And then a random, we got a V-Friends hit. Rare Respectful Raccoon. Obviously, V-Friends is a sick collection. Gary V, we got the day trading intention right there. Big fan of V-Friends collectibles. But yeah, we're going to be having all kinds of different stuff we'll be giving away and doing in the future. And as always, I'm just stoked to have you join me. Have a good old time. Before we run away from the pack rips too far, we got these bad boys coming too at Christmas time. We'll be giving some away. Tops. Exclusive holiday pair of those in there.
Okay.
We're gonna be ripping some of these. We're gonna do some big Christmas giveaways. I'm gonna start throwing them up on Instagram, so people should be staying tuned. And what we're gonna be doing over the next little bit is actually giving away a bunch of different pack rips. So you'll get access to our kind of show around Christmas in the new year. One of the first shows in the new year. We'll be ripping a bunch of these, giving them away. So over around Christmas holiday, New Year, stay tuned for a ton of giveaways, and we're going to give away access to those. So like say one of these, blaster packs, 15 card packs. I think there's 6 packs per box. So I'll be doing a giveaway on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and we'll give away 6 spots, and those people will get the 6 packs in that. So we're going to be doing all kinds of cool giveaways. Even got a couple, I'll pull one of these bad boys down that we'll be doing around the holidays too. Stashed up here. This is a good one.
All right. Upper Deck. Okay.
Yeah, a nice Upper Deck Series 110, 2025, and the newest cards of the year. You're going looking for the young gun rookies and etc. in there. So this will be it's a nice tin. We'll be busting that open sometime in the new year as well.
Love to hear it, man, dude. This was an absolute blast. The thing I was going to throw at you in mid chat was, I don't know if we talked about the Sergei Fedorov rumors to come to Detroit. So maybe that's a conversation for another day. But
I know what, like, it's funny that you say that. Of course, I did hear about it. I actually almost wore the Sergei Fedorov jersey today, like just in lieu of the I guess bit of controversy and whatever chatter that's been going on around it. I actually weren't, but then I was like, I'm going to be at a Sunnyvale playoff, so I got to give the ode to that before I'm done in the league. I can wear Fedorov in the future, but I don't even really, I guess I got to look more into it because I'm a long-time Detroit fan, and I don't even really understand what the Fedorov beef is. He's a legend. Why is there beef? Let the man do his thing.
Well, they're talking about him coming in and coaching.
I know, but there's like talk that there was like beef between the team and
I didn't hear that. So I'll have to.
Yeah, well, because someone said they're like, oh, the Detroit Red Wings social team wished Fedorov a happy birthday. Like they're gonna get in trouble. They've done it every year, so it's nothing new. So I don't know. Yeah. It's probably just a bunch of gibberish that I didn't pay much attention to.
Absolutely. I can't imagine though Fedorov coming in and whipping these guys into shape, making it like the old school Russian teams, man. It'd be wild because Fedorov coaches KHL, or he did coach KHL, so he's got the numbers. But dude, I'm wearing down, man. It's Sunday night. I got to get to bed. I know you do too. But appreciate you, man. And dude, it ain't Christmas yet. We got one more week of shows before Christmas, and it'll be a blast for sure.
Heck yeah. And then we'll have a kind of a mid-Christmas New Year's show where kind of get into the World Juniors, I think, then, and probably be on our train to the NFL playoffs. And it's been a good one. So until next time, I guess we'll chat with you. Oh, what do we got? A couple of comments. Derek Lalonde was built by Tampa Bay. Love to see it. AKA Coop Dog.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, Basement 5K. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Basement's he's an awesome dude. So,
and thanks to anybody who tuned in, shared anything. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. We'll be giving out some packs. We'll be having a good time, and we'll be getting ready to spread the Christmas cheer. So thanks for joining me, Trav. Appreciate you.
Heck yeah, man. Have a great week. See ya.
See you, buddy. As always, folks, we'll get you next week. Until then, stay Bushleague. I don't even know what I was going to say. I wasn't prepared. I came out of it. I don't know. Usually I come out of it clean, but that sucks. So let's rewrap it. Let's pretend it never happened. Hey, Trav, what's going on?
Hey, long time no talk. What's going on?
Yeah, not going on. I'm just the guy who's supposed to do an outro, and I blew it. So I'm going to try again.
No worries, man. Hey, thank you very much for having me on, dude. It was a blast as always. And guess what? It ain't Christmas yet. We'll be back next week. Another episode of Bushleague Sports, episode 45. 45.
I just put you there. You're doing a good job. I was just gonna let you have it. I stunned you though.
I froze. I
was like, damn, he's so good. I'm just gonna remove myself and like slide out the back door and play the outro.
Oh man.
Anyways,
but dude, hey, I appreciate you.
Week, stay Bushleague beauties. We're out of here. We don't know what we're doing.
Hey everybody, Joel Mills here with the Bam Bam Fitness Club, here to introduce our crossbody resistance course. We train Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. The class is 1 hour long, and it's weight training as well as aerobic stepper exercises.
Curl, press out, press up. Just do your best here, guys. If the arms burn out, just take a breather. And shoulder to shoulder stretch, guys.
And then we add those meta bands in to give us the supersets and the exercise combinations to really increase that muscle breakdown, guys. This is like your typical lifting day in the gym.
And 10 push-ups. Band on the wrist, guys. Squat press for 10. And wall rows. Let's hit 15 each side. Bring that hand as low as you can with that palm back. And then just trying to keep the reps consistent.
We're going to train hard. We're going to break our muscles down so they grow back bigger, stronger week by week. Love to see you guys in the crossbody resistance class. We'll see you there. Have a great day, guys.
Awesome job. Until next time.